This is massive travel chaos that has swept across the American skies, grounding hundreds of planes and leaving thousands of travelers completely stranded. If you flew anywhere near Texas this past Friday, you know exactly what I'm talking about. A critical piece of the air traffic control puzzle just vanished, and it triggered a system-wide disaster. The Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, was forced to hit the emergency brakes, issuing ground stops and major delays at the two biggest airports in Dallas, Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, or DFW, and Dallas Love Field. This wasn't weather. This wasn't an FAA computer breakdown. This was caused by a crippling communications failure, specifically a problem with local telephone company equipment. Think about that. A simple phone glitch paralyzing one of the nation's busiest air travel hubs. The core of the problem was at a crucial facility called Dallas TRACON. TRACON is the Terminal Radar Approach Control, and it's the brain center responsible for managing the skies, guiding planes as they arrive and depart DFW and Love Field. When this equipment went down, controllers lost their eyes and their voices. They reported losing all radar and phone communications with the aircraft in the area. Imagine you are in the control tower and suddenly, silence. One controller at the Love Field Tower was heard saying, "We've lost all radar and phone communications. I'm not departing anybody until we can get a system set up. We have no comms with approach right now." Another controller captured the sheer panic when they said, "Yeah, I think the entire Metroplex just went down." The immediate impact was devastating. The ground stops were issued around 1:30 p.m. Central Time, halting all departures and incoming flights. When DFW shuts down, the entire country feels it. This airport is the third busiest airport worldwide and serves as a vital hub for American Airlines. Love Field is the major operational base for Southwest Airlines. By mid-afternoon, the chaos was massive. Just at DFW alone, there were more than 270 delayed flights by 2 p.m. Central Time. Love Field, smaller but still crucial, had about 70 delayed flights at the same time. As the afternoon dragged on, the numbers spiraled completely out of control. Total flight disruptions climbed significantly. At DFW Airport alone, the system recorded nearly 700 delayed flights and about 200 cancellations. At Love Field, the total disruption reached around 160 delayed flights and only one cancellation. And these weren't just short bumps. The average delay for flights in the Dallas area quickly shot past 2 hours. Some travelers were facing peak delays that stretched beyond 7 hours. One passenger summed up the frustration perfectly, saying they just kept getting delayed, and were going to miss their layover. Another traveler was so anxious because they were going to Barcelona for a cruise the next day, and their family was waiting. Others were left stranded and missed critical connections nationwide. Some travelers ended up having to wait on-board aircraft for several hours before they could get takeoff clearance. The ground stop, which froze all air traffic, lasted for more than an hour at both major airports. The initial ground stop was lifted around 3:30 p.m. Central Time and replaced with an extended ground delay program. But the trouble didn't end when the ground stop lifted. The FAA warned that travelers should expect delays to continue well into the evening hours. Advisories showed delays persisting until at least 9 p.m. at Love Field and 10 p.m. at DFW. The problem was so severe that it wasn't just Dallas that was impacted. The impact rippled far beyond Texas, paralyzing the national aviation system. This single telecommunications failure became a developing nationwide disruption. Flights heading to Dallas were held right where they started, whether that was Chicago, Denver, Atlanta, or Houston. The outage spilled over into airspaces served by more than 20 air traffic control centers across America.
Major air traffic control sectors serving cities like Los Angeles, New York, Miami, Salt Lake City, and Washington, D.C. were all impacted by cascading congestion and rerouted flights. Even smaller regional airports felt the heat. Other North Texas airports, like Meacham in Fort Worth and McKinney National, were affected. Flights going and from distant places were diverted, like Tulsa, Oklahoma, where a flight scheduled for Dallas had to land in Killeen, Texas. Even airports hundreds of miles away, like Eppley Airfield in Omaha, Nebraska, saw delays. San Antonio International Airport reported cancellations and delays on flights heading to the Dallas area. The impact hit the major carriers hard. Since American Airlines operates its primary hub at DFW, it faced major setbacks, delaying hundreds of flights. American quickly issued a travel alert, allowing customers affected by the DFW airport delays to rebook without change fees. Southwest Airlines, the dominant carrier at Love Field, also experienced significant delays and urged passengers to monitor their flights. They even had a handful of flights diverted. This incident puts a giant spotlight on the vulnerability of the U.S. air traffic control system. The FAA was clear that their equipment wasn't to blame. The failure originated with the external telecommunications company. But relying on third-party communication providers for such critical life-and-death infrastructure raises serious questions about redundancy and backup capabilities. This isn't the first time an external phone system failure has caused nationwide mayhem this year. Earlier this year, problems with a telecommunication line serving Newark Liberty International Airport caused controllers to repeatedly lose contact with planes. That incident caused thousands of delayed flights, and some FAA employees working at the facility even had to take trauma leave. The federal government is trying to fix the wider problem of an aging system. Congress has approved $12.5 billion in funding to overhaul the technology and hire thousands more air traffic controllers. But experts warn that the implementation and full modernization of these systems will take years to complete. Transportation officials have confirmed this new air traffic control system is a substantial piece of work that requires a substantial amount of money. For now, the disruption caused by this single communications failure underscores how essential that technology is and how easily a relatively small glitch can completely paralyze one of America's busiest aviation hubs. Nearly 800 flights combined were delayed or canceled, leaving thousands of travelers stuck. Travelers who are still dealing with the fallout are strongly advised to check their flight status directly with their airline or use mobile alerts. If you were impacted, make sure you take advantage of those fee-free rebooking policies offered by carriers like American and Southwest. The skies are slowly getting back on track, but this incident serves as a major warning shot about how fragile our critical infrastructure really is. That's the breakdown. If you found this look into what went wrong with air traffic control helpful, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more straight talk analysis and ring that bell so you never miss an update. I'll see you next time.